All right, guys, so welcome to part 2. I'm over here at California Sidecars. And if you guys don't know, they also make trailers, but I'll show you guys some of that too. So if you're looking for trailers, they have some awesome trailers. We talk about the escapades and all the stuff. I'm looking at the trailers and they look amazing. But today we are now building out the trike system. You got to watch the removal of the kit. Now we are now installing, okay? This is Will.
Hey guys.
All right. Will, what are we doing today?
We're building Charlie Brown's 2025 anniversary gold trike. We've got it disassembled, and now we're going to do a little modification of frame, install our CSC brake line. We're going to cut the fender to where we need it. We're going to drill a couple threads out of some holes, and then we're going to put all the mounts and the drive shaft that are on the table, put all that stuff up on the motorcycle frame. Everything's going to be ready, and then we're going to take the suspension, and I'm going to ask Sensei to use his muscles, and we're going to lift that baby up onto the trike, onto the bike, and make it a trike.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby. So here we go. We're putting this brake line on here. There is a pretty certain important way to route this brake line because my drive shaft is big. It's much bigger than the motorcycle drive shaft because it's for a trike. I've had a few of these brake lines get cut by the drive shaft because people didn't install them just right. So, I mean, everything's important. I tell anybody that I train or anybody I talk to, everything's important. But brakes are extra important. So I need to get this routed to where I want it. I need to make sure that my eyelet is vertical like that. So it's up and down, so my bolt's going right in. So I make sure that that's like that. So then I hold my fitting, and it doesn't turn. And then I'll tighten the Honda nut. So the orientation of that banjo fitting is correct. There we go. Professionally installed. All right, we're going to take this Honda bracket. We'll get him a couple zip ties. I don't know if you knew this or not, but zip ties hold the world together.
They do.
And we're going to use them.
I'm held together by zip ties.
Yowza. Zip tying the ABS wire and the brake line bracket to its actual bracket from Honda. Just putting it back together kind of how it was. So I'm actually bending the metal line down a little bit to force my braided line against the upper brace of the frame so that I'm as far away from the drive shaft yoke as possible. So I've done that little kink in there. Not a kink, but a little bend. So I'm going to get him zip tied up. I've got that brake line up against that piece of frame. And now I'm going to zip tie it here in the middle to where it was affixed as a motorcycle. And as I pull my zip tie tight, I'm going to pull on the brake line. So I'm pulling back on the brake line, getting that zip tie tight, and of course I'm not going to just single do it.
Of course not.
You're always going to double zip tie.
That's right. The sound of that sound that the zip tie makes is like, it's a beautiful sound to me.
Isn't that the typical zip tie right there that cuts your arm off?
That's what they normally do.
Okay, so this guy cuts right at the zip tie. No scratches, no cuts, no nothing. Get you some flush cuts. They're the bomb. Get a couple more. Oh man, a couple
Blame
more
it on
ties.
Sensei.
He did it again. So now we're gonna go up inside and we're gonna get this ABS line zip tied where I need it to be. I've got my charcoal canister tube, an overflow tube, and the ABS wire. I'm gonna put those together to keep them out of the drive shaft. Just light. And then I'm gonna take, there's actually a rubber on the ABS wire, and I'm gonna put him right on this bracket in the middle. So that's going to hold the ABS wire away from the drive shaft. And we are going to run the drive shaft boot on here, so it's pretty protected. That brake line is right against that frame, nice and tight, all the way to the outside, way out of the way of the drive shaft. Nice.
Guys, once again, you get to see it from the outside too. You see how that just follows that shape? That way you don't have to worry about the brake lines getting pinched, nothing.
I got 2 Honda brake zip ties that hold the main wire harness to the bottom of the battery box. Well, my frame tube is going to take up that space And wires and metal can't take up the same space. So I'm going to eliminate that. I'm just going to push it to the outside a little bit, and I'm going to zip tie all this to my frame mount once I get it installed. So now I'm just prepping this. Now this is ready for frame mounts. So now we're going to cut the fender, drill the holes, then we'll get our frame mounts on. So up to now, you could go back to a bike. But now we're cutting. No turning back now, Charlie.
This is it.
This is it. All right, so we see this fender is the way that it is as a two-wheel bike. I'm going to cut it across the back, and I'm going to cut this side open so I can get to the bolts for the trike kit. Same on the other side.
Point of no return.
So the big radius in the top is just kind of for access, for wiring, for the radio and stuff. So that's why I do that.
Okay.
You wouldn't really have to, but I kind of give myself a little bit of room there. Which we're gonna deburr that, make it look nice. Make it look like you care, because I care. I'm actually gonna get my grinder and clean that up just a little bit.
Guys, when you deburr these edges, look at how clean that looks though. That is a huge difference.
Realistically, somebody might see this if they take the seat off. Nobody's ever gonna see this side work.
Right.
But just do it. Whenever I train somebody, because I train all the new dealers that want to become California sidecar dealers. So you come here, you can be factory authorized trained, and I do that. 5 minutes. 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. You end up spending an extra 30 minutes on the trike. And it goes from being, yeah, it's installed, to being a really good install. Just a couple little finishing touches here and there. It makes a real difference. Just take your time. You're never in that much of a rush. Make your work look good, and you'd let anybody else look at your work. Think about the customer sees everything. If the customer saw that you left like that, what would the customer think? So here what we're doing is we're just going to drill the threads out of these two bolt holes. This was threaded for the saddlebag stay, and I just want to slip a shoulder bolt through there, so I'm going to take the threads out. And it's going to be real grabby because I'm taking the threads out and not drilling a real hole. Nice.
I wonder who's the godfather.
Yeah, who that is.
Who that?
So I'm going to kind of show you how this stuff works, and then we're going to install it. So I've got one bolt. Okay, so here's my pivot bolt, my new CSC pivot bolt. It's going to get threaded into the frame and tightened up and done. I'm tightening the bolt up against the shoulder. It's tight and done. Then and it's going to be in the frame. Then this frame mount will go on the inside of the frame, go onto that shoulder. This frame mount is threaded, so I put this bolt on the inside here, thread this bolt into the frame mount, and that locks the frame mount onto my pivot bolt. So I'm not going to Loctite this because I'm going to tighten it up into the aluminum motorcycle frame. I never like Loctiting anything to the motorcycle frame.
Why is that?
Because you got a steel bolt with Loctite in an aluminum frame. You should really never need to take this particular bolt out, because you can take this single bolt out and take that frame mount out. You really should never need to change that frame mount. If you got an accident and you need to change this frame mount, you probably need a new vehicle. You probably don't just need that one frame mount. But for some reason, I got to take this frame mount off. I got to take this bolt out of here for whatever reason. You Loctite that steel bolt into aluminum. It's going to take aluminum with it, with the Loctite on it. And this is going to be, watch this, 80 foot-pounds.
80 foot-pounds.
There we go. Nice. Now I will Loctite this guy to thread to there. And we'll leave this out because we'll use this a little bit more. And I'm going to reuse the Honda boot on my, we made this billet ring just to hold this dumb Honda boot. Mm-hmm. And this boot is just for looks. If the boot is not going to function, it doesn't do anything. What this does on the motorcycle is it seals junk from getting into the swing arm, getting into the diff and rusting your drive shaft. This boot does nothing on the trike, but you see it through the side panel, so we have to supply it. So I'm just going to feed this up over there, go right over the output shaft, right there. And then he's going to, oh shoot, I should have got the socket first.
You want to slide it on?
There we go. So this bolt is tight, but the bolt I just, this pivot bolt is tight, but the center bolt is loose, because I don't know where this needs to be until I get my Trike kit on. And if you try to like get a bunch of this stuff snug, you're gonna see I've got 6, 8 things to line up when I'm putting that Trike kit on, and you're just gonna fight yourself. So leave this stuff loose. We'll get everything installed before we tighten anything up. So now, I told you about the solid bolt in the previous video. Now I'm going to put Loctite on this because I'm threading it into my frame. The smooth part is going in the motorcycle frame, so there's no Loctite on the frame. It's just Loctited to my mount. And I got a big lead in here to help me line it up. So just a drop, that's all you need. So there's my frame mount going onto that bolt. You can see how much of that bolt is sticking through the frame. So that shoulder, this shoulder is going to be in here shouldering it. So it's not just the threads locating this. I've got that shoulder is going to be tight in that frame mount to make this frame mount extra tight and located to the motorcycle frame. And there's a lot of thread engagement. That whole thread's going there, so it's a lot of screw in here. And now, so on the inside, you can see where I cut those zip ties. This frame mount is right where those zip ties and this wire harness was before. So I've just pushed the wire harness to the outside. I'm going to take these guys, zip tie them up here, so that's along this frame mount once I get my third mount in there. So we call this my V mount. That cool Honda bolt that's for the shock link. Mm-hmm. We're going to reuse that. Take the V mount. This is going to be for my gravel pan later. This is all got to be in the middle. That's going to go right, oh, I got to get them hoses out of there. So that goes right in there. Come around here. Take that OEM Honda bolt, stick him in the hole. Yep, just. I got to tap it just a little bit. Hopefully that's enough. Okay, so I got my left frame mount, my right frame mount, my V mount in there. Get some zip ties. Get up in there. So we're going to get the ABS wire, the park brake cable, the frame mount, and the motorcycle wire harness. All 4 of those guys. Keep putting that at the front of the wire harness. ABS wire, nothing needs to be too tight. I'm just getting that stuff away from the drive shaft, and I'm not going crazy tight because this frame mount's not even in the place it's going to live yet. Sometimes you can use those little rubber doodads and sometimes you can't. Yeah, that's nice. Keep that stuff all nice and tight and out of the way. Okay. Drive shaft. So we're going to put a little moly grease in those splines. Seeing as how I haven't gotten dirty yet, I'll get some
Is that time?
moly grease in here. Yeah, we got to get some grease in there. We're probably never going to take this drive shaft out, so don't short yourself on the grease. Too much is wonderful.
That's a good note.
There we go. Bigger is better and too much is wonderful.
That's exactly what she said. That's what she said twice.
Twice. Not just once.
Not just one time.
Twice. And I actually, with every CSC Trike kit, you get this whole bag of grease for that drive shaft. Obviously, I'm using that little corner, but it's actually more, we thought about like bagging this grease ourselves for a drive shaft, and it cost us $1 million to get one little corner of grease, and these are 32 cents or something. So we just, you got plenty of grease with your, when you get your trike. Again, everything is still loose, flopping around, easy. Put him up on the splines. Drive shaft's in. I always try to spin him a couple times. Make sure nothing's hitting, nothing's rubbing. All my like this frame mount has a big casting up here. Let me see that light. So right there, that drive shaft is close. There's no extra room. I've got a big drive shaft in a little area. I've got a big U-joint in a little area to have a big strong U-joint. So I want to make sure this drive shaft spins and doesn't hit that frame mount. Spin it now, make sure that you got clearance now. Now's the time to do that. So I've made this frame mount as big and thick as I can, and I've made my drive shaft just as big and thick as I can. So I got a good amount of room there. The transformation has begun, and it's just about to happen.
I'm smiling from ear to ear right now. This is great. As Will is getting those bolts and stuff together, once again, recap from the last video. These are all the parts that was taken off that will be put back on. All these parts. And the parts that will not be put back on the bottom. The trike, the tail, the whole back. So you're looking at this before it goes on. And if I get right behind the bike, you look at it just like that, that's a nice visual.
Looks like it's done?
Yeah, it's pretty much finished.
Nice, pretty much finished.
And then all of this, beautiful.
Yeah, it's too bad it's all covered up by that painted body.
I know.
So Charlie Brown is not getting ground effects, which is totally fine. And there is a lot of installers, companies out there that if I don't have to do if I'm not going to do ground effects, just leave the side stand on there. I think a trike is kind of half done. It looks like, oh, I cut a corner and didn't finish it. Just take the side stand off. So I'm going to pop this side stand off. I'm going to jump the side stand wire so the bike always thinks the side stand's up.
That's smart.
So
okay.
I'm taking the side stand switch off. That's hanging right there. This little rotator.
Now, the term you just used, is that the running board you're talking about?
Yeah, he's not getting ground effects.
Okay.
So you could leave the side stand on there, but it's a trike. It doesn't need a side stand.
It doesn't need it, correct.
So we're going to take him off. So one more disassembly during the
assembly.
Assemblies. I can't get that. There's a little green 2-pin connector, and that's your side stand switch. You come right here on the side. You can just see it. So that green connector there, that's what we're going after. See it from the side?
Yes,
Okay.
I do see it.
I'm going to now modify this side stand switch. There's plenty of people that would put your side stand up, so this is oriented wherever. They'll wrap tape around it, stuff it up in there, and that's fine. I am going to cut this off, throw that away. When the side stand's up, these wires are touching. When the side stands down, the wires are open. So I am just gonna strip these two wires, solder them together, shrink tube it, and plug it right back in.
So you're tricking the unit.
Yeah, so the bike always thinks the side stands up. The only downfall is, and this seems random, some bikes, let's say you're on your on your Goldwing tour, and your bike is running, your side stands up, and your wife says, "Hey, I need to get something out of the trunk." So she gets off the bike, she goes to the trunk, She goes to open the trunk, and the trunk won't open because that bike is running with the side stand up. It's like, hey guys, I don't want you to open the saddlebags. I don't want you to open the tour box. So some trikes will let you open the trunk and my trunk when it's running, and some of them won't. So if your trike doesn't open the trunk with it running, it's because the side stand, the bike thinks the side stand's up, and it's just the way that it is. It's Honda. Don't call and blame Will. It's Honda's thing of, hey, I'm running, the side stand's up, I don't want the saddlebags to be opening. Okay, we'll do a little solder and shrink tube over here. Okay. Uh-oh. That solder stuck through. I gotta shrink tube it again. I got a short big piece. There we go.
So the beautiful thing, as you guys are watching, is Will really takes his job for real. Most people would have seen that and be like, ah, whatever. Nobody's gonna know.
That wire could touch something, and the bike would all of a sudden think the side stand's down and kill your bike. I mean, that's important. Dude, everything's important. Everything matters.
That's a t-shirt.
Yeah, right. Everything matters.
Facts.
So we just plug it back in and we're done with that side stand.
If you look inside, you can see it right there.
Yep, you see that green switch. So that's gonna rust in a week or two. So I'm just gonna put a little black touch-up paint on there so that it doesn't. And I'm sure Charlie Brown will find some cool bolt or nut, some acorn nut, or some neat thing to accent this ugly bracket down here. And on the earlier bikes, this bracket you'd completely unbolt and it was gone. On this bike, I can take this foot peg mount off, and this black bracket is a substantial bracket, and I guess you could cut that off, but it would take you some time. That's a big, thick bracket. So it's like that piece is a substantial part of the inner motorcycle frame. So I just paint it, and that's pretty good. So there's a lot of points that can pinch your hands.
Yeah.
So you're going to take your two hands clear down here and grab that thing just like this. If you grab it here, this is all going to move and pinch. So right down there, pick it up, set it on the jack.
Okay.
Easy.
Ready?
This is, I don't know how much this weighs, but it's a little bit. There we go. It's almost a trike, guys. We just slide it forward. So I'm going to line these guys up with that drilled hole.
You need help?
Yep, I got to get it up a little bit. Try to get that pretty close. Okay, I'm going to get you to stand on the other side. So the first thing we got to do is make sure that brake line is underneath there. So
It's under this.
Yep, we want to keep that brake line there.
Yep.
These are going to go to the outside of this guy.
Yep.
Okay, so now we slide it forward. I got to get mine to the outside. You got to let off a little bit. There it goes. Okay, just straight forward. There she goes. Like I said, that's why we leave everything loose, because we got a lot of stuff to line up here. Okay, our brake lines are good. Yep, brake lines are good. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, come just a little, just squeeze it forward a little bit. Come on.
This one is
Okay,
good.
you're gonna grab that bolt. I'm gonna pick up on the back of this a little bit, and it's gonna line right up.
There we go.
Like a glove. You tell me when that's lined up.
Keep going. Almost. If I pick it up a little.
There's a lot
I think it needs to come down a little bit.
Okay, I
Yep.
got it too high.
Yep.
That could be. We can try to get my ratchet. We'll just kind of thread it in a little bit. Nice and easy. Oh, it is too high.
You see it?
Yep. There we go. 2 of the 8 bolts.
2 of the 8 bolts. Really?
Yeah, we got these 2, and then 2 here
Uh-huh.
on the top on both sides, middle on both sides, bottom on both sides.
Wow.
Yep. So now we're gonna pick this guy up Yeah, so I gotta pull this back just a little bit. It's always a little manipulation. So now we're gonna get that bottom bolt lined up. Just gotta pull it back just a little bit more. No, I'm right there. I'm right there.
This one needs to go back just a tad.
Yep, I need to pick it up a little bit.
There we go.
Yep, there you go. Now get the middle one in. Is it pretty close?
Hold on.
Oh yeah, well this is way down. That's what's holding us up. Get your brake line down.
Okay.
Get your brake line down, and then we'll pull this guy up.
Let's get this.
There we go.
Nice. That line right up.
Yep. So now I got my middle one in.
The top one is in too.
Okay.
Hold on. I thought it was in. Let me just manipulate this a little bit.
So if you want to use that to kind of thread the bolt in,
Yep.
just use a ratchet to thread it in. It'll go right in there. Look at me, I'm going to do some filming. I'm going to get the real worker over here.
So what I'm noticing.
He thought he'd get away with just filming.
Right? Put the camera guy on here. I think I feel
Doesn't
it.
want to go?
Yeah, I feel like it's not not
Okay.
lined.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not aligned. There's a piece. I think
Is
that
there a
just-
piece that's like powder coat or something in the way?
Yeah, hold on.
Let me see.
But if I look through it,
Oh yeah, yep. So we're just going to take the ratchet and we'll put a little bit of power behind it,
awesome.
and that'll be fine.
Nice.
We're not going to go crazy. We're just going to put a little power behind it because it's pretty much there. That's good.
Beautiful.
All right, on the other side, we got to do a little more work because this frame mount, because I've got this extra bar, when you have a V and you put a bar in the middle, obviously this is welded in a fixture, but when you have that V and you do more welding, it pulls that V together. So you can see that my hole here is not
Yes.
lined up. It never is. That's why I put the bottom in the middle. Now I can put my pry bar in here and get that guy lined up and use my wrench. Pop him right in. Just a little trick, you gotta. Oh man, this frame mount's bad. It doesn't, the hole doesn't line up at all. It did line up before we welded it hard. You know, when you tacked it in place, it was fine. Then when you weld it, stuff moves. And once that's tight and done, it's gonna stay there and not spring and not do something crazy. So now, we got a trike.
Yeah.
Just a little piece of tape to
Yep.
keep the junk out of the system while it's in our factory. Remember how we oriented that eyelet? And now it lines up perfect. Goes right how it's supposed to.
Yes, when you had everything go right to the frame,
Yep.
and you said it had to be in a nice straight line, and that's exactly what it is.
Okay. All right, we're going to tighten some stuff up now. I kind of have a procedure. I'm always going to tighten these top two bolts first. Then I'm going to tighten my pivot bolts. Then I'm going to tighten my 6 here. And then I'm going to tighten the OEM Allen bolt last. And I don't trust cordless tools to do anything. We're going to get everything sucked up, and then we're going to tighten it for real. Okay.
Good point.
So I'm always going to tighten on the nut. Now I'm just going to hold it with the cordless on the bolt and then tighten it with my wrench. Get that feel. 18 to 20 foot-pounds, 5/16 bolt. Nice. And then tighten it with the wrench. Just kind of getting it drawn in with the socket.
You said about 18 foot-pounds?
These are 3/8, so these are going to be like 24.
Okay.
I'm kind of holding the ratchet and tightening the wrench. Nice. Same on the other side. I don't know why I go bottom to top, but I always do. It doesn't matter one bit. So once again, the big pivot bolt is tight. I'm just tightening up the Allen on the inside. This is a 3/8, so again, 24. And then I got to get my breaker bar. Big bolt over here is going to be 80 again. I got to draw him up a little bit. There we go. And the last one is that OEM pivot bolt in the bottom. He's just going to sit against the table. This is a 10 millimeter bolt. So I really don't know what the torque is going to be on this because it's not a normal bolt that's doing normal stuff under normal circumstances because of the way that Honda frame is. But it's probably going to be like 60 foot-pounds because it's not pivoting anymore.
Yeah.
It's just holding my V-mount. Okay.
Ooh, man.
I'm gonna, just like I said before, I like to put stuff on as soon as I can, so I'm gonna put these frame mounts. Because then I'll get a phone call and I'm like, oh man, did I tighten those? If I put the covers on, I know those are tight.
You know it's done.
I know it's done.
People, once again, professionalism at its finest, and I mean that to the utmost, highest level. You guys know I take professionalism very serious.
And you saw me impact everything apart, but I'm gonna put everything back together back by hand. I'm not much for impacting stuff.
Yeah, because you don't want to over torque.
I don't want to cross thread anything because of this gun, and I don't know how charged or not charged my batteries are. I don't trust a cordless to put anything back together. And I can put the alternator cover on too. I took that off just to do the side stand. But we do have to adjust the park brake cable.
Park braking, okay.
I'm going to leave that off. Even though this is a brand new bike with no miles, I'll guarantee you that park brake is not adjusted like it should be.
Yeah, that's going to be cool to see that done too, and especially on a trike.
All right. Okay, so here's my Honda park brake caliper, Honda park brake mount. I'm actually going to take that off because this won't work on my trike. We're going to switch this out with this badass little billet aluminum bracket that we make ourselves. So I need a 12 and a 5.
Wow.
Yeah, cool.
That looks
pretty
good.
cool little part. Yeah. And this is going to hold the park brake, and my ABS sensor is going to go there too.
Okay.
So it's a dual feature. Even if you have a manual transmission bike, you're going to get this mount just to hold the ABS sensor. So it's the same. I got these little brake pad sliders. I'm going to take those off and keep them. I'm going to move right here to the vise. These are tight. Obviously, these matter which way they go. I suppose you could look in a book, or you could just remember.
Right, exactly. Which one is the left, which one is the tallest and shortest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matters which way the caliper goes on there. Okay. Done. Put your little clips back on. These little machine grooves are for these little fingers. Goes right in there. Okay.
Wow.
Because it's brand new, I'm not going to bother doing any grease or anything. There's still a good amount of Honda grease on there. Slip him into place as long as my brake pads line up nice. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. There she goes.
Nice.
Okay. Okay, so there's my bracket. Now, I'm going to do the Honda free play park brake cable adjustment. I'm probably going to end up taking that side fairing off to do it how I do it, not really how Honda tells you how to do it. So Honda's going to tell you The way to adjust your free play is you put your handle at 1 click. Right there, 1 click. And I take my caliper and I set it at 1.7 inches. So 1.70. So I've got it 1 inch, 700, and then 0. And I'm going to measure from the bottom of here to the center of my cable. So this should be here, but it's not. It's way down there. So this is way too long. So I got way too much free play. Honda's also going to tell you that right here is your cable adjuster, which it is, but there's not that much cable adjust. So I'm going to take the fairing apart, and the cable goes into the bottom of your handle, and it's got 2 nuts, and there's a good 1/4 inch of adjustment, and they've always put the cable, the housing, close to the handle. So I'm actually going to loosen those nuts and pull the cable out of the handle to take up that free play, to leave a little bit of adjustment in the future, especially this bike is brand new. Adjust it good here where it's hard so that the customer can adjust it a little bit here and there when they need to by just taking this cover off.
That's smart.
So we're going to take this fairing apart. I'm going to take this guy off and see if I can do much.
Okay.
You can kind of see it and you can kind of do some work, but we'll see how good it goes. I'm going to take this one push pin out. Right at the end of my screwdriver, you see those 2 silver nuts. That's the cable. That's the cable adjust. And you see there's a bunch of threads at the top of those nuts.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to pull the
I
cable.
can even see it through here.
Okay, I'm going to pull the cable down so that the threads are at the bottom, and we'll see if I can manipulate it this way. Otherwise, I'm going to take this fairing off. I'm just going to take this fairing off just to show you guys. It just takes a minute. Everybody, oh my gosh, you're going to take that side fairing off? That's terrible. That's 100 different bolts, and it really is really not a bunch of different bolts. Oh, I got to take the 8s out of there. Pop the mirror off. It's really not that bad. And my impact is over here. I can probably do it from, yeah.
Yeah, it's not as bad as people say, man.
Once you've done it like 42 times, it's easy.
Look at that. Even that plug you took off. Hey, 1, 2, 3.
You got your 1 silver bolt up here.
Is that a 5 mil, right?
Yep. Yeah, they're a couple different, the black ones on the mirror, and then this black piece, they're little black guys. Some of them have a shorter shoulder. See how the one's a shorter one? This was the single one out of the mirror. The shorter ones are up here, and then the only silver guy is out of the top.
On the top.
The rest of them are all the longer black ones.
I'll show you guys what he's saying. So the top is right there.
Yeah, right up here under the mirror. You got to take the mirror out in order to get to that silver one. So there's the one in the front. I got one here in the very front. And then this one here. And then I got 3 clips. I got 1, 2, 3 we'll take out. So we've taken those 3 out in order to pull this back. And there's one more right there, right above my finger.
Yep, see it.
That's the guy that rarely gets reinstalled. So now this is free.
It's the part where people get nervous.
Yep, I'm gonna get my blue pry bar. My little blue plastic, like an inner panel, door panel.
Yep.
So this is what I found. I'm gonna be able to pull out on here a little bit, but then this body line comes down to the fairing. Right there is a clip. So if I get this pry bar right at the end of that body line, and I'm going to pull out with my left hand, and I'm pushing down with the pry bar, I'm going to release that clip.
Man, that's a scary part.
Yeah, all my clips are still there. Yeah, it'll be fine. And it's like 1 out of 15, you might break like one of these clips at the top that was so tight just now, but there's 14 other clips. It's don't freak out and buy a new piece because one little clip broke free. You got a lot of bolts and other clips and grommets. There's 2 grommets, pegs with grommets here. There's a solid pin that goes into the headlight that holds that thing in place, and other grommets. One little clip is not gonna kill you. So I'm gonna loosen the bottom one a little, and then I'm gonna loosen the top one a lot. I wish I could move that radiator too. Wouldn't that be
To make it easier, right?
Yeah, just pop that radiator off of there. Drain the coolant. Okay, so now that top nut is loose. I'm gonna spin that all the way up against the rubber boot. Now this bottom nut, I can't just spin it. It's gonna be tight the whole way because I'm literally pulling that housing, the cable housing, through the black mount there. And it's kind of snug. And I'm actually pulling on that cable. So you just gotta be patient and do one flat at a time. But I'm telling you, you're gonna end up, if you don't do this right from the start, you're gonna adjust your cable a little bit here, and then you can adjust the pads on the cable, but the customer's gonna be right back saying his park brake doesn't hold. And buddy, when you got a 2-wheel bike and your park brake doesn't work, your bike's still got a side stand. On a trike, you got nothing. That trike's gonna roll away if your park brake's not good. So adjust your cable good, because that's the only line of defense of it not rolling away.
See, I love that you take the extra time to do these little details,
5 minutes.
man.
It's just 5 minutes here and there, like I said earlier. We're gonna go back and adjust, or check the adjustment on the caliper.
Okay.
Measure that again.
Yep.
So again, looking for 1.7. Look at that.
On the money. What the heck?
On the money. I would almost consider loosening this guy up a whisker, but I'm not. It's so close.
I mean, the money.
It's right there. I mean, I might be just past center.
I mean, but it's right there.
It's right there. 1.7. There's your guy. And that's 2-wheel bike, 3-wheel bike, motor trike, California sidecar. It doesn't matter. That's going to help everybody out. I'm going to leave this all apart.
Okay.
While we're doing the front end, I'm going to be right up in there. Just protect the paint. It's much safer on the left. We'll put that back together later.
Awesome.
I'll get rid of, oh gosh. Look at all these bolts. I just grabbed them all in my hand. Now I'll never know where they go.
Where do they go?
I can't believe you did that.
Well, this thing is, it's amazing, brother. It's amazing.
We're getting there now. All right, we're ready for a drive shaft.
Guys, leave it in the comments. Let me know. Have you ever seen a trike build? Have you ever seen one? And if you have, where did you see it at? And what was your thoughts? And also, do you have a trike? And do you have a California sidecar trike? All right, so we're gonna end this off at this point here. You guys got to see everything you got to see right now, okay? Part 3, we get to see all of it come together. What do you say, Will?
See you next time.
Let's go.